It's that zesty flow, no shame on the flow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that zesty flow.
In the last class, we have discussed the syntax of your for loop. And we said that there should be expression 1, expression 2, and expression 3. Right? So within this particular for loop, you can write whatever the statements you want to specify. Okay, and we have said that with respect to these expressions, the first expression is with respect to initialization, and the second expression is with respect to the condition that you want to check, and the third expression is with respect to update. Right? So within this particular loop, you will be having statements. And we have also discussed that the execution, how the execution of a for loop will take place. Okay, so initialization will be taking place only once. After that, a condition will be checked. If a condition is true, then only it will enter a loop of a for. Right, upon finishing all the statements of a for loop, then it will perform an update. After an update, it will again go back to the condition. Right, so this is how the working will take place. First initialization, second condition, third loop, body loop, fourth will be update, fifth will be again a condition. Right, so this is how it executes. And with respect to initialization, we have concluded a few points. Right, so what were those points? One, can it be empty? Yes, it can be empty. There might be a situation where you don't want to initialize a here, rather you want to initialize a before a for loop. Yes, that is possible. It can be empty. Next, what are the things we have seen? uh, can we declare more than one variable? Yes, you can declare, but all those variables should be of a same data type. Right, same data type variables can be declared. If you have a different data types, then you need to write a semicolon between that particular declaration. In that scenario, it will consider the second part as the condition one. Right, so once it encounters semicolon, it thinks that you are talking about a second expression. Right, so what are the other observations we have seen? We have said that any valid Java statement can be in a place of expression 1. Any valid Java statement can be at a place of initialization. It is not mandatory that every time you need to write int I is equal to 0 itself, or it is not mandatory that every time you need to write some declaration statements itself. No rule like that. Right, so these are the three important observations that we have seen with respect to initialization part. Yes, this is what these are the things which we have done in the last class. In this example, I have written some normal printf system.out.println statement instead of initialization. Right, so that was the last modification which we have done with respect to for loop. Let me remove this particular part, and let me keep it back to a normal state. Right, so now we are going to discuss the few conclusions with respect to a condition part. Right, first question, can I keep this particular condition part empty? Now let me explain you what I wanted to conclude, then we will see. Does the second expression will take a condition, any boolean condition? Right, what is the meaning of a boolean condition? Any condition that evaluates to the boolean data type. any condition that evaluates to the Boolean data type will be your second expression, right? So again, be clear with the statement what we have said when we are discussing uh, basic point with respect to data type. We said that all the expressions will be evaluated to its some data type, right? So here also, whatever a thing you will be writing, it should be evaluated to some Boolean value, either it is a true or false, right? So now my question is, if I am not writing a this particular statement, that means if I am not writing a this particular expression 2, there will be a three possibilities. One, it might be showing something like error is there, expression 2 is missing. This is the one thing. Second, it might be considering true, right? It might be considering true. If it is considering a true, then a loop will be executed infinite way. Means infinitely it will be executing a loop. Third scenario, it might be considered it as a false. If it is considering it as a false, then it will not show this particular statement itself, right? So clear with the three conclusion, means three scenarios. The first scenario, it might be an error saying that you are missing a expression 2. The second scenario, if it is considering it as a true, then a loop will execute infinite, right? If it is considering a false, you will not be seeing any output because you will not be entering that particular for loop itself. Understood? Shall we cross check out of these three options which is the right option now? Yes. Let me remove these parts. Hope you can see the screen command prompt. Okay. cd desktop slash java java c loop demo dot java. Which option was selected out of a three? Infinite loop, in the sense, what is the conclusion? What it has thought? It has taken a second option. That means if your expression 2 is missing, then by default it will take it as, if expression 2 is missing, then by default it will consider it as a true, right? Clear with the conclusion? Can I write a one more conclusion along with this one, saying that your expression 2 is not mandatory? Not mandatory, right? If you are not writing it, then it will be taking it as a for, then it will be taking it as a true. In the sense, it is not mandatory to specify that particular condition, right? So if you have intentions of stopping a loop, then you will be writing at a what particular point you want to stop that particular condition, you will be writing in an expression 2, right? Shall we do one more modification and a quickly cross check?
Yes, sir.
Can I write some statements here as a part of expression 2? Did you understood my question? What I'm doing is, for int x is equal to 1 is the first expression. Second expression, instead of writing a condition, I wrote some system.out.println statement. Let me remove one more semicolon. Yes. Then x plus plus. What might be the error? So means, will it show error, or will it execute properly, or will it neglect that particular statement and considers it as a true, or if you are writing any statement, it will be considered as a false? One, it can show error. Option 2, if it considers it as a true, then you will be having an infinite loop, right? If it is considers it's as a false, right, no output, right? So what might be the option now? Will it show error, true or false?
Error, sir.
Error. Will show an error, sir. Okay, we'll check. Let me remove these statements. Save. It is the command prompt. cd desktop slash java c loop demo. What it is saying? Incompatible type error it has showing and saying incompatible type, so void cannot be converted to boolean. That means this particular system.out.println statement is void. That means it can return any of the data type, so that particular data type cannot be converted as a boolean, right? So what is the conclusion drawn from this one is, in a second expression you have to give us something which will be evaluated to either true or false.
Yesterday
Right?
we did the same thing in while loop.
I did the same thing. Did we do that one? We wrote some system.out.println statement in a while loop.
Yes, sir.
I don't remember. Okay, so clear with the conclusion, right? Whichever is the expression 2, that expression should evaluate to either true or false. Now, can I directly specify something called as a true as the second expression? Why confusions? Yes, see, whatever expression you are writing, if it is evaluating to a true, then what will be a problem if you are directly writing it as a true? No problem. Can I give directly something as a false? Yes, no problem. You can give, because ultimately whatever expression you are going to write, that particular expression is going to be printed as a something like a true or a false itself, right? So clear with the expression 2, I hope, because most of the things you only answered. Shall we proceed quickly with respect to expression 3, right? So the same points we will discuss again. Does the expression 3 is a mandatory? Is it mandatory to write expression 3? If it is not mandatory, say for example, I wrote something like x is less than a 3, right? Right? So again, 3 options. Will it show error, or will it execute properly, or what is the scenario? Let me quickly run the program, not to waste much of a time asking silly questions again and again. Cannot allow a loop demo.java. Okay, class name should match. Running infinite times, right? So why it is running in infinite times? Because within a loop you are not updating a value of x, right? When you are not updating a value of x, it will execute, yes, but it is running an infinite loop because you are not incrementing a value of x here. If you are not incrementing a value of x within a loop, then obviously there will, every time this particular condition will be true, because every time it will be comparing whether 1 is less than a 3, right? So every time that particular condition will be a true, so it will be an infinite loop, right? So you can write something like this also. You can counter that, you can just keep track of that particular variable within a loop also. That is also a feasible solution. Again, I'm telling you, intention is to make you more comfortable, not to confuse, right? Is it working according to the statements whatever we have written? Does it need to print a hello only twice? Correct, right?
Sir.
Yes. So clear, means the first point what we have concluded with respect to expression 3 is, it is not mandatory to specify that particular expression. You just need to take care that some point using the sum instruction, you are closing that particular loop, right? If an expression 3 has not been written and you have not taken care of breaking a loop, then a loop will be in an infinite mode, right? Shall we see a last point with respect to this particular expression 3? Can I have some printf, so means normal system.out.println statement over here? Can we have something like this? Let me cross check. Syntax error, expression 3 semicolon. Okay, who told you to put a semicolon? You have to have a one more extra bracket over there. Legal operator. Did I close the things properly? Okay, one more bracket extra I have given. I didn't see below it was closed. Working fine. Expression 3 is a printing, right? So what is the conclusion? As a part of expression 3, it is not mandatory to specify any statements. First conclusion. If you are not updating anything, you need to take care that somewhere loop will be closed within your body of the for loop, right? So next conclusion. Any valid Java statements can be a part of your expression 3, right? So no problem if you are so means if you are writing any of a valid Java statements as a part of a expression 3, right? Did I made it clear with all the points with
Yes,
respect to
sir.
initialization, condition,
Yes, sir.
and updation, right? Initialization, updation, simi means after listening to all these things, can I write a for loop something like this? Can we write for loop something like this variant? Can we write? Right? If I am writing a for loop something like this, what does it means is I don't want to give anything with respect to expression 1. I don't want to give anything with respect to expression 2, right? When I am not giving anything with respect to expression 2, will it consider it as a true? Expression 1
Yes,
is
sir.
optional. Expression 2 will be taken as a true, and your expression 3 will also be an optional, right? So what work it will do now? That means you have not specified from where it has to start, right? You said always the condition is true. You said that expression 3 is not, so means you didn't specify what has to be done with respect to expression 3. Now this particular for loop will be executing in finite times, right? So you should be in a position within this particular for loop. If you have written any instructions for a breaking of that particular loop, then it will work accordingly, right? Clear with expression 1, 2, and 3 and the basic syntax of a for loop. And one more thing I'll tell you, I'm not taking a much of a programs on these particular if statements, control statements, and looping. That is, so means if I keep on taking examples on these things, it will be a completely a time consuming process, right? So what you can do is you can just Google and you can check some basic programs with respect to these conditional statements, so means control statements and looping. Is that fine? While executing those programs, if you get any errors and if you are not able to understand any part, you can just post me that particular message. We will look into that particular issue, right? So without wasting much of a time, let us just proceed with the next topic. Yes. With respect to looping, actually we have to discuss one more looping construct that is called as for each. There is a one more looping construct which is called as a for each, but for a time being I'll not be discussing this particular for each. Once we start with the arrays, then we will see how exactly the for each loop will work, right? You don't have a keyword called a for each. For itself used in a different fashion, right? We have a one modified version of a for that we will discuss when we will be discussing the concept of arrays, right? So do you know anything with respect to nested loops? Nested loops, in the sense, if you are writing a one for loop within another for loop, then it is called as a nested for loop, right? So I'll be writing one for loop within this particular for loop. I'll be writing a one more for loop, right? So this is called as a nested for loop, and usually it will be used when you have to work with the arrays part, right? So where you have to work with the two-dimension arrays. So in that particular scenarios, this particular nested for loops will be useful, right? So you can just check any program which explains reading a values into two-dimensional array or displaying a content of a two-dimensional array. Once we discuss arrays, that will justify this particular topic, right? So what I said is, with respect to looping, we have to discuss two small concepts. One is for, which is used as a for each, means variation of a for, right? And the next one is with respect to nested loops. Okay, so these two concepts we will be discussing once we start with the arrays part, right? Shall we proceed further?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The next topic which we need to discuss is unconditional branching, right? So what is the name justifies? What do you mean by unconditional branching? Is it like an infinite branching? Unconditional love, you will say, right? Unconditional means infinite, cannot gauge. That is not that unconditional. This is something like without any condition. Without any condition, you will be having a situation for a branching, right? So without checking any condition, if you are performing a branching, then it is called as a unconditional branching, right? So with respect to unconditional branching, we have to discuss a break statement. With respect to break statement, you have a modification, because your Java does not support goto statements. We will discuss why it won't support a goto and what it felt to remove that particular goto statements, right? So what I'm saying is, break with label. There is a variation which is called as break with a label. Using this particular break with label, it will have a same working which is similar to the goto statement, right? With respect to unconditional branching, we also need to discuss which is called as continue. There is a keyword called a continue. We have to discuss this particular keyword also, right? Are you clear with what are the topics we need to discuss with respect to unconditional branching? One is a normal break, normal working of a break. If you are putting a break in a switch, how it works, you have already seen. If you are putting a break in some loop, how it works. If you are putting a break in a nested loop, how it works. Then we have to see the modified version of a break, then a small description with respect to continue. Shall we proceed? Morning 8:30.
Yes, sir.
Few people might be still in a bed. Need a response. Shall we proceed with the unconditional branching break statement? Yes. In which scenario it is recommended to go with a break? Are we using a break in a switch? Are we using a break in a switch statement?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What was the purpose of using that particular switch statement in means break statement in a switch? Is you wanted to close that particular block, right? Whenever you want to end a particular block, there you have used a break statement, right? So that is one scenario. That means one place where you will be using a break statement, right? So next one is within a for loop, say for example, I have written some for loop. I'm not writing what are the expressions of that particular thing. I just wrote a for loop. Within a for loop, I wrote some if condition, right? So after a if, I wrote something called a break, right? Hope you are able to understand the structure, right? I have a for, within a for, I have written a if statement. Within a if statement, I wrote a break statement. Once a compiler encounters this particular break, from which particular part it will come out. That means, will it just break a if statement or will it break a complete for loop? For a better understanding, right? So this is the structure of my program. This is structure of my program. I have written a for loop, then I have written a statement. So then I am writing a few more statements here. Now, if it encounters a break, will it just come out of if statement and executes the system 2? So means statement 2. Yes, sir. Okay. You are saying that once you are writing a break statement, it will come out of that particular if loop.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, before asking this particular question, I might have asked you one more question. If I am writing a for statement, within a for, if I am writing a break, right? Within a for loop, if I am writing a break statement, will it come out of this for loop? Yes, sir. Okay. So you are saying at the means similar to this one, if you are writing a break statement in a if condition, it will come out of this particular if block, but it will be there in a for loop only, right? Not just the if statement, it breaks the for loop as well. Kshitij Agarwal. Okay, Kshitij is saying that why you people are saying it will only break a if statement. It is not a breaking only if statement. It will break complete for loop only. It will come out of a for loop. That is what Kshitij is saying. Kshitij, but all others are saying like it will just break this particular if statement. It will be in a still for loop only. Is there anyone who want to join with the Kshitij saying that it will come out of a for loop? Not just a moral support, you have to justify that statement. You should be having a clear idea. Shall we cross check quickly with some example? Class break demo. What you are saying, sir? Not getting anything. I said within a if statement, I have written a break, right? Now my question was, when break encounters, will it come out of a only if statement or a complete for loop? Most of the people said it will just come out of that particular if statement itself, if block itself, but only Kshitij is saying that it will come out of a complete for loop. Did you understood what the question we are discussing now?
No, sir.
You didn't understood the question itself.
No.
Are you clear that a break statement is used to break some loop?
Yes, sir, that I understood.
You understood, right? I have written some structure saying that first I have a for loop within you. So means you are able to see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Within a for loop, I have some statement 1. Right? After this statement, I have a if condition written. Within this particular if condition, I wrote a break statement. Right? So after this particular if condition, I have a one more statement which is called as a statement 2. Right. Now the discussion is, if this break encounters, if this particular break encounters, everybody is saying that it will come out of this particular if statement and it executes a system 2, statement 2. Understood the question? So means clear with the clarification?
Yes, sir.
Once a break encounters, everybody is saying that it will come out of this particular if block and executes a statement 2. Everybody is saying. But Kshitij is saying that once it encounters a break statement, it will not just come out of a if, rather it will come out of a complete for.
Yes, sir. It will break for loop also.
It will break a for loop also. Okay. So
Yes.
that is what I am checking with a simple program. Right. What was our conclusion? For int x is equal to 1, x is less than 3, x plus plus. This is the for loop what I was talking about. Here I have a system dot out dot println. I will say in for loop, right? Here I will write a condition something like, if x is equal to 2, if x is equal to 2, then break. After this particular if, I will write a one more system dot out dot println statement just to justify which statement has been executed. Outside if, right, I'll come out of a for loop also. I will write one more statement outside for. Did you understood complete program? What is the purpose? So means what, based on what output, what conclusions need to be drawn. Let me save the file first. Desktop Java, what was the name we given? Break demo dot java. Right. Be clear with each and every statement. We have written a for loop int x is equal to 1 and we are checking a condition whether x is less than 3. That means this particular loop will be executing it twice, one for iteration 1 and another for iteration 2. Obviously when a 2 is matched, it will be working. When you are matching with a 3, it will not work. It has to come out of a loop, right? Once a condition satisfies, it will be printing this particular statement, right? Is it going to check a condition if x is equal to 2, because initially x will be a 1 will not be equal to 2, so for the first time this loop will not execute, right? When this loop will not execute, will it go to a system dot out dot println outside a if statement? Because this is a part of a for only, right? I'm just telling
Yes, sir.
you what will be output. Initially it will be printing in for, right? Then first time condition will not be satisfied, so it will be printing outside if, right?
Yes, sir.
For a value of x is equal to 1, it will be printing these two statements. For the value of x is equal to 1, it will be printing these two statements. When a value of x becomes a 2, it will be printing in for second time. Condition will be checked, 2 will be equal to 2. When a condition is satisfied, it will break, right? When it is a breaking, if you are saying just a if is closed, that means only if it is coming out of a just a if loop, then it has to print outside if statement, right? If it is printing outside a for, then it should be a conclusion saying that it is coming out of a complete for loop also. Justified. Shall we check the output? because until and unless you are clear, you are not clear with the program, you cannot analyze your output, right? So first time in for outside if will be printed once. Second time in for will be printed. We have to just cross check whether it will print outside if or outside for. Did I made assumptions? Shall we check output?
Yes, sir.
Java C break demo dot java, compiled fine without errors. What is the conclusion then? In for outside if it has printed for the first time when x value is equal to 1. Inside for it has printed, rather printing outside if it is printing outside for. What should be a conclusion then? Conclusion is, if you are writing a break statement in a loop, it will come out of a loop, not only just a conditional statement, right? So the behavior of a break statement will be a different based on the position where you are writing it, right? If you are writing in a switch statement, it will just break that particular block and come out of a switch. If you are writing that one in a loop, then it will break that particular loop. I'm saying that particular loop and comes out of a loop. Clear with the conclusion? I can explain once, but the way I wrote a program itself is a clear explanatory. That is what I was thinking. I said like, you have written a for loop where x is equal to 1 and x is less than 3, x plus plus. Now, with respect to this for loop, can I say that your loop will be running a twice for iteration 1 and for iteration 2? It will run a loop twice, right? First time when a value of x is equal to 1, it will be printing in for, because condition is satisfied, it has entered a for loop. It will print a in for. It will be checking for the first time whether 1 is equal to 2, because initially value of I becomes a 1. So means x becomes a 1. It is checking whether 1 is equal to 2. Condition does not satisfy, so it cannot encounter this particular break statement. When it is not encountering this particular break statement, obviously it will be printing outside if, right? So for the first time, you will be getting in for and outside if. It is printing in for, outside if. Next time, x value will be incremented. When x value is incremented, now whether 2 is less than 3, yes, 2 is less than 3, it will go inside a for loop, right? It will print this particular statement. So it is printing in for us. Now, 2 is equal to 2. Condition satisfies now. When a condition satisfies, it is encountering a break statement, right? According to our discussion, if it is encountering a break, if you are saying that it will just come out of a if statement, right? If encounters a break, if it is just coming out of a if statement, it has to print outside if. Is it printing outside if? No, it is printing outside for. Fourth statement. The first two statements with respect to the value of x is equal to 1, when the value of x is equal to 1. When a value of x become a 2, then the second two statements are with respect to second value of x. In for, it is printing because the condition was satisfied initially. The second last statement, if it was a printing outside if, then we might have given a conclusion saying that it is just coming out of this particular if block, right? Now, after seeing the output, we can clearly say that it is not just coming out of this particular if statement, rather it is coming out of a complete for and displaying it as outside for, right? Shall I do a small modification for the same program? Now, I don't have this particular if statement, rather I have one more for statement, something like this. Int I is equal to some 1, I is less than 3, I plus plus, right? So within this particular for, did I close the brackets properly? 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, yes. Huh. Right. Means if this particular complete program is confusing, let me write just a syntax what I wanted to convey you. If I have a one for loop, this is one for loop, right? Within this particular for loop, if I have a one more for loop, nested for loops possible, right? Here, if I have a break statement, are you able to understand a scenario? I have a nested for loop, that means a one for loop within another for loop. Inside of this, I have a break statement, right? So in this scenario, if a break encounters, right? Let me name this one as a for loop 1 and this one as for loop 2. Don't write a programs in this particular fashion. Just for understanding, I mentioned those things, right? Now, if break encounters, will it come out of just a for loop 2 or will it completely come out of for loop 1 also? It will come out of for loop 2. That means it will be still in a for loop 1 only. It will come out of a for loop 2. Okay. So any other answers? Anybody feels like it will come out of a complete for loops? Both the for loops? It will come out from two loops. Okay. Jagdish is saying like it will come out of both the for loops. It will come out of both the for loops. Okay. Just the loop 2. Okay. Any other answers? Okay. So not to waste too much of time. Here in this scenario, if you have a nested loops written, then it will come out of right. It will just come out of inner loop. That means it will just come out of this for loop 2, but it will still remain in a for loop 1. Right? So keep one thing in mind. Whenever you are writing a break statement in a switch, it will means it will come out of that particular block. One scenario. Second scenario, if you are writing a for loop if you are writing a break statement in a for loop, whichever a loop is holding that particular break, only from that loop it will come out. Right? Let me repeat a statement once again. If you are writing a break statement in a for loop, right, whichever a loop is holding that particular break, only that particular loop it will come out of. Did I made things clear? Clear with the points? I think it will print the first loop. Yeah, that only I'm saying you. The conclusion is, if you are putting a particular break statement in a nested loops, then only it will come out of inner loop, but it will still stay on in the outer loop. Right? So using a break, that means with respect to a Java, when you are using a break in Java, the break statement has three uses. First, it terminates a statement sequences in a switch statement, right? So whichever block you have written, from there it will come out of. Second, it can be used to exit a loop, normal loop. When you want to exit that particular loop, it can be used. Third, it can be used as a civilized form of a goto, right? So this conclusion we will be seeing in the next class, right? So we have discussed these 2 points. So with respect to a PPT, I have a few programs pasted which explains the 2 points which we have discussed till now. That means if I have a break statement as a part of if, right, then it will come out of complete for. That means whichever loop is holding that particular break, it will come out of that particular loop, right? So this is the first scenario. You can execute this program and cross check what is the output that you are getting, and also validate whether output which you are getting is true or not. There is a one more example where you have a nested for loops, right? So within the inner for loop, you have a break statement, right? So when a break encounters, what a conclusion I gave you is, if a break encounters, only inner for loop will be closed, but it will be still in the outer for loop, right? So I'm saying that this will be the output for this particular program. Please cross check that one, right? So in the next class, we will be discussing how the break statement can be used as a civilized fashion of a goto. Clear with the things? So in today's class, we have discussed a few important conclusions with respect to for loop. Then we have discussed what is unconditional branching. So with respect to unconditional branching, we have discussed a break statement. So in a break statement, we have discussed the two important conclusions with respect to switch, how it works, with respect to loops, how it works, right? So nested loop was a modified version. Thank you for the interactive session, I said.